5S is a concept which is accepted very easily by all employees. Simple reason, because it is so easy to understand. It is a way of life. There is nothing very extraordinary about 5S. If you consider the applicability of 5S, you will be able to realize that 5S is applicable everywhere. This is a question which is normally asked, where 5S is applicable. I would go to the extent of saying that 5S is applicable not only in your workplaces, but it is applicable everywhere where you are involved into any activity. Either it is a social activity, spiritual activity, sports activity, for all those activities which are extracurricular, away from your workplace, other than your workplace, those activities will be there also the 5S is applicable. And I would go to the extent of saying that 5S is very well applicable even at home. So this is a universal concept which is applicable to all. So why 5S is required to be implemented by companies? Because the first impression which is created in a company is the visual look of a company. As soon as you go to the company's gate or you go to the reception, the cleanliness, the orderliness, the smile on the face of the receptionist, those are the first impressions which are creating the impression of a company, whether it's a good company to work with or not so. So it is obvious that the first impression is the last impression, or the first impression is the lasting impression, I would say. So to create a good first impression, 5S is a practice which must be implemented by all. And that's why if you are going to a one particular bank or another bank, the bank is giving a similar facility, same conveniences. But you would love to go to a particular bank. You would not like to go to different bank. Why? Only because the visuals are different. So people have a different way of treating you. The workplace is not organized. So simple organized workplace gives you the sense of involvement. You love to go to a place. So 5S is that's why very, very important in creating a good workplace. Another aspect of 5S is that all those concepts of TQM or business excellence practices such as TPM, Six Sigma, Kaizen, Kanban, those practices are considered to be slightly more elaborate. Maybe there are statistical tools are also involved if you go to estimation as well. But 5S is very commonsensical approach, and this is a basis. This is a foundation on which all these business excellence practices can be erected. It is considered that total productive maintenance, the foundation pillar is 5S. So second most important aspect of 5S that it is a foundation, it is a starting point for all business excellence practices to be incorporated in a company. So the third aspect that for a business, if the customers come and visitors comes to your company, they are also impressed by the first look, as I mentioned. So obviously the business aspect, the marketing aspect is a good marketing tool. If 5S is implemented in the workplace looks good, it looks attractive, it looks inviting, and people would love to do business. So for customers' point of view, from visitors' point of view, from shareholders' point of view, for all stakeholders, the 5S is that's why very, very important. The fourth aspect is that 5S is nothing but a change in the attitude. It's a cultural, behavioral change. Once you work in a particular way for implementing 5S in an organization or in a company, obviously that habit is created in your blood. It becomes your second nature. So even if at home you start working in a 5S philosophy, in a 5S culture, if a piece of paper is lying on a floor at your home, would you not pick it up and put it in a wasteful basket? The same culture applies there at the workplace. Same culture applies to the social club. So this is a behavioral change. And that makes the change in your behavior. Not only that, it encompasses, it spreads around in your family members too. And I have seen even a 4-year-old child picking up a chocolate wrapper and putting it in a basket rather than throwing it away.
Place in one's life. On an average, We spend our whole day as mentioned below. We spend 25 to 30% of our time in sleeping. We spend 5 to 10% of our time for having food. We spend 15 to 25% of our time with our family. 5 to 15% of our time goes for traveling. And 35 to 40% of our time we spend at workplace. That means about 50% of our wakeful time we spend at our workplace. So if you see most of our time we spend at workplace, so how this workplace should be? Is it threatening or inviting you to work? Is it lovable or not likable? Think about your workplace condition because your company's health is linked to the health of your workplace. Hours of an organization. It is a foundation step for any future improvement initiatives. So if you or your organization thinking to implement TPM, Lean, Six Sigma, or any other improvement initiatives in future, then 5S is a cultural building activity for your organization. What are the benefits of 5S? 5S is beneficial for individuals' personal as well as for professional life. How? It gives us an opportunity to organize our workplace and improve the layout. It makes our workplace more pleasant to work. Employees' job satisfaction can be improved and it can change the culture of employee. It will help to remove obstacles and frustration from the work. It gives clear communication to all about the work and workplace situation. It helps to increase productivity, improve product quality, and delivery reliability. It will reduce the cost of manufacturing and it also promotes safety. It will help to improve customer confidence in us and which results in improved customer satisfaction. As 5S is popularized as Japanese concept, but in the earlier stage, Ford company also following this methodology, but they were not calling it as 5S. They were calling it as can do. So what is the meaning of can do? C for cleaning up, A for arranging, N for neatness, D for discipline, and O for ongoing improvement. So 5S is the similar kind of concept as can do. What is the meaning of 5S? It is a series of steps taken for ensuring proper organization, neatness, cleanliness, standardization, and discipline in companies' workplace management and housekeeping practices. Now, one question may raise in your mind that why this concept is given a name of 5S. Let's see the answer. Because the Japanese term of organization, neatness, cleanliness, standardization, discipline start with a letter S. That's why this concept is known as 5S. So what are those 5S? The first S is Sierra, that is sorting. The second S is known as Seton, that is systematic arrangement or set in order. The third S is known as Seiso, that is speak and span, or somewhere it is known as sign also. The fourth S is Saiketsu, standardization. The fifth S is Shitsuke, that is sustain or self discipline. 5S activity because the prime rule of 5S is 100% employee involvement and 100% area coverage. If the zone area is big, then you can divide that area in subzones also. Form a steering committee for effective implementation of 5S. The role of this steering committee is to give timely decisions for implementation of 5S. For each zone and subzones, decide zone leaders and subzone leaders. Prepare zone layout of all the zones. In the subsequent slide, you will see the example of zone layout. Take before photography of all the zones. The same will be explained in the forthcoming slides. So what is the example of zone layout? Here you can see the example of zone layout. In this layout, different zones are identified through different colors. Another example of zone layout. Similarly, all the zones are identified with different colors, and we can put zone leader's name also in the zone layout. The example of before after photography. Why before after photography is required? Before and after photography gives us the improvement made by the team. In this photograph of before situation, you can see lots of clutter is available in the zone, but they removed all the unwanted materials and now they have taken the after photography. So now it is clearly visible that what level of improvement or what level of work they have done in their area. So before and after photography is not only applicable for 1S. You need to perform this activity during implementation of 2S and 3S also.